We've talked a lot in this article about how consents are created, updated, managed, assigned, but how are they actually used with Gecko when they're in the system? Now, they can be used in a number of different ways to govern what happens automatically without you having to analyze manually each contact. Let's imagine, for example, that we had a form and we wanted to set up a simple workflow that said anyone who fills in this form immediately send them an email. We can choose who to send this to, we can choose the template that we want to send, and we can say which email address to send it from. Crucially though, we can tell Gecko to either honor the consent preferences of the student who's filled this in, or we can tell Gecko to ignore the consent preferences of the person who filled this in. Now, left unchecked like this in this particular state, Gecko will first determine, does this student have permission to receive email? Have they consented to it? If yes, then Gecko will send the email, no problem. If they do not have permission, we'll log the attempt to send the email on the student message table, but we won't actually send it. That message will be there with the no consent status, meaning they would have received it had they opted in. If you have ignore consent preferences, this overwrites any permission that the student has, and it means irrespective of whether they've opted in or out, we are always going to send this particular message. Now, it may be that you've added custom consent preferences to your particular account, and you may be thinking, well, which consent preferences do you check? Now, when you're sending emails or setting up emails in Gecko and you choose to create a template, so I'm in settings, email and SMS templates, you choose the type of message that you want to send, but crucially, down in this section, there's a field called check the following consent reasons. So for example, if I'm going to be creating an email that's all to do with event marketing, I could make sure that the only consent that ought to be checked for this particular email is the event marketing comms. And so if somebody's opting into this, they do receive it. If they've opted out, though, they wouldn't receive it. If you've got multiple consent reasons in your particular field, then it means the student would have to have opted into all of them in order to receive the message.